There has never been a better time than now to come join the Bellisio Foods team. Bellisio has a new contract in place with plenty of awesome perks for their employees. From increased wages, access to the free health clinic, vacation after 6 months, and much more, Bellisio Foods is committed to putting their employees first. For more information or to apply, visit BellisioFoods.com/careers. Take advantage of these great new employee benefits and join the Bellisio team today. Visit BellisioFoods.com/careers to learn more.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. We appreciate you all tuning in this morning. And of course, Jennifer here with our good friend Pete Wilson to do the morning news update, which is always brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you are looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs, you give Nia a call and she will take good care of you. Number right up there on the screen, so you can't miss it.
418-4135.
Very good, Pete.
That's right.
That was your test this morning. You passed.
That's right. Well, that's probably one of the most used cell phone numbers in Jackson County. What do you think?
So, and cell phones just in general.
Right. Exactly.
It's never not working.
That's right. If you can get through.
If you can get Nia on the horn, because she's always talking to somebody.
Right.
So what is going on? You said that you were just on the phone with our health commissioner.
Exactly. So we'll lead with that. Jackson County Health Commissioner Kevin Aston calling with a very important update, of course, on the COVID-19 front.
Okay.
Remember, we had I think you had said on the air when we had other folks on before, we were hitting home about the no test kits at the health department, which, they were getting bombarded with calls there.
Sure.
No surprise because of the uptick in cases. And, so people want to get tested. That's good that they want the test kits. Well, of course, they're hard to find. And the health department is one of the first places that you would go ask. And they ask us to, on here at Total Media, to get the word out that, sorry, we just don't have them right now. We'll let you know.
Right.
Well, now he let me know today, a minute ago, and I am letting you all know now that they do have test kits at the Jackson County Health Department. Very good news. Now, there's an asterisk by that. It's a limited supply.
Okay.
They have them for right now. And they want to, I don't think they're going to deny anybody a test kit because, if you want to get tested, you have some concern about maybe having COVID or being exposed or whatever. But they really want to emphasize the importance of a person who knows they've had an exposure. They should be at the top of the list, as well as folks who are going because they have a health condition or they're a susceptible population because of age or medical condition.
Okay.
Because, COVID can have more serious consequences for them. So, on a priority basis, that's who they would like to, serve primarily. However, they do have the test kits and they're available now. And if you want a test kit, you don't have to call to make an appointment or anything. They already have too many calls coming in in general for, the different issues COVID-related that they're addressing. So what you do is you just go to the health department there, downtown Jackson at the corner of Main and Portsmouth, 200 East Main Street.
Okay.
And they should be able to give you a test kit. Once again, limited supplies. Don't be surprised if maybe sometime next week we're announcing that they're out of test kits
out again
because they could not get as many as they would like, but they are delighted that they got something this soon because when I talked with Kevin earlier in the week, of course, the obvious question, when will you have more? He couldn't say for sure because of the demand for the supplies. And obviously, that's just not something that's produced here.
So don't be stingy with the test kits.
Got to come from somewhere else. Now, as far as COVID vaccines, there are now 4 days a week at the health department that you can get them. Now, this is on an appointment basis. Monday through Thursday, no COVID shots giving, no COVID-19 vaccinations on Friday. But in the morning from 9 to 12 and also from 1 to 3:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
But once again, you do need to reach the health department, telephone. I think you can make an online connection as well, but you do have to have an appointment there.
Okay.
If a live person does not answer the phone because it's busy or they're screening them to try to keep up, Just leave a message there. They will take it, and they will get back with you with an appointment. I believe it happens fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So other news on the COVID-19 front. This happened, Jennifer. The health department here in Jackson County put out a report after I was on the air earlier in the week. But the latest news on cases is not very good. In the last 2 weeks in Jackson County, 337. 337.
That's a lot.
I didn't stutter. Triple digits.
Man.
That's the 2-week period covering Monday, December 20th through Sunday, January 2nd. Now, that's a 2-week total, not a 1-week total. A lot of the 1-week totals were given. Yeah, you break it down to 1 week, it's 160 some, right? And, that's a staggering number. Now, here is the good news. Based on a comparison there, James has got the infographic up if you want to see some other numbers there. If you break it down and compare it to the 1 week, the previous 1 week report, the case numbers are way up, but comparatively speaking, the deaths and hospitalizations are down.
Okay.
For instance, the number of deaths in that period, the last 2-week period, was 4 virus-related deaths. In the 1 week period previous to that, there was 5 deaths in 1 week. So we had 4 in 2 weeks in this latest period. The number of hospitalizations was the same, but remember, 16 hospitalizations in the last 2 weeks compared to 16 hospitalizations in the 1 week previous to that. Okay. So there has been some, I don't know whether you call it speculation, conjecture, analysis on the national level that maybe we're turning in the right direction now. Number of cases and a lot of the cases being much less serious as far as the deaths and hospitalizations go. We can certainly hope so.
Hey, Pete, one question we got on Facebook earlier in the week when we posted this graphic. If you look here, there's this statistic under the active hospitalizations where it says 86% were not fully vaccinated. And some people pointed out that percentage has not been changed when they release these updates.
I saw that same comment, James, and without asking the health department, I can't comment on that. I don't know whether they update that figure every week like they do the other numbers, and that number may not be totally current, or it's just been steady at that.
Yeah.
I know they do want to emphasize, that the vaccinations, even though you're certainly not bulletproof, I mean, we have to say that. That is certainly the case. You're not bulletproof with a vaccination. The information from all the experts and then backed up statistically, even locally, is that the more serious cases, the hospitalizations, directly according to what the health department is putting out, most of the people who are hospitalized are unvaccinated. And they consider unvaccinated anybody who has not had the full list of shots.
Sure.
And there's some people who maybe have not had the booster or whatever. They're not considered fully vaccinated. Maybe they've had 2.
It also takes that 2-week period into consideration. Like even if you've had both shots, you're not considered fully vaccinated for 2 weeks, right?
I think there is a period there that everybody always asks, well, I just got the jab. Am I okay now?
Yeah.
That's... It's the information is certainly fluid, to put
it's
it
all
politely.
Just like
you'd like it to be more concrete and clear on what is and what isn't, but that just isn't the way it is. But now over the long haul starting back to April 7th, 2020, when we had that first case, 5,664 confirmed cases in Jackson County. In other words, you line them up. We have a lineup here, 6 people. One of those persons had COVID, statistically speaking.
That's crazy.
To me, that's a lot.
That's a lot of people, Pete. And that's diagnosed ones.
That's diagnosed. Right. And then there's 790 probable cases, too, which some of those may have become confirmed cases at some point, or they just never got diagnosed. They consider a probable case. They had a definition for that I don't have in front of me, but it means that all the signals were there that you had COVID.
Sure,
it just wasn't diagnosed or confirmed.
But you think about like how many spouses say, the wife tests positive and the husband's sick too, and he didn't bother to go do anything because he's like, well, I know that I am. And so I'm sure there's many of those cases that weren't reported at all. So you think about the percentage of that, and it's big.
Right. Yeah.
It's a big number.
Right. Well, two other big numbers over the long haul: 110 COVID-19 related deaths in Jackson County now. Now, would we ever think that over a 2-year period there'd be 110 people dying from the flu? We know that there are probably, or maybe it goes into pneumonia or whatever. So it is a confounding thing. You know, on one side, you have people saying, and it's true, many of the cases are like a common cold or less, or you don't even know you have it. But then we have people dying because of COVID. The big thing seems to be your susceptibility and if it gets into your lungs.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing.
And it goes the wrong direction.
Yep.
You know, if you go into the hospital, that's not good. If you're on a ventilator, you know, it's a serious situation there. 411 hospitalizations, excuse me, in that period since April 7th, 2020. So, and that 86% vaccination, or that 86% rate of people in the hospital unvaccinated. That percentage also being reported by the health department. From Vinton County, interesting information there. The latest information from there was 34 active cases as of December 27th. That was that doubled in the next week, because the last report put out on January 3rd, 66, went from 34 active cases to 66. So Vinton County numbers up almost double.
Wow.
They've now had 1,591 confirmed cases in Vinton County and 522 probable cases. They put out another post, Jennifer, just yesterday that I thought was interesting, breaking down the age again. Because, you know, when this all started with COVID, and it was a scary thing when it was the most unknown, it was new. Remember, it was the elderly people and the people with health conditions that seemed to be targeted. All right. 90 of the 90 cases in Vinton County the last week, this is from Vinton County, 90 cases, 47 of them involved people ages 39 and younger. The age bracket most affected by COVID in Vinton County, 26 cases in the bracket ages 20 to 29.
Wow.
Now those are not kids, but they are young, mostly healthy adults, I presume. You know,
interesting.
26 out of the 90 are in the ages 20 to 29 bracket. There's also children. There's also elderly. But while the elderly were disproportionately affected early, now it's the other way around, middle, younger, even children as well.
Wow.
They still keep saying that on the children who are sick, who get it, it's very mild. So that seems to be a pretty consistent thing as well. As far as other COVID-related news, you know, I think we did announce, or no, maybe we didn't announce here on television. I think maybe when you had announcements that I passed on, you may have announced this. But now at Wellston City Schools, when they have an athletic event or any group event, you have to wear masks.
Okay,
that's new just this week. You're recommended to wear a mask if you go into the Oak Hill City building to pay a bill now.
Yep.
Also. There was another instance that affected athletic events as well. At Oak Hill, the Oak Hill boys basketball team is sidelined due to COVID-related cases, COVID-related issues. You know, that's not necessarily all basketball players with cases, because you got cases, quarantines, exposures, you know, that could affect that. But the Oak Hill basketball team is sidelined right now. Also, the Wellston basketball game at Meigs that was supposed to be played on Friday has been canceled or postponed. That's the word, because it's a league game. They'll try to make that up. That's because of COVID within the Meigs basketball program.
Okay.
Now, Vinton County boys went to play Meigs on Tuesday night.
Uh-oh.
They played the JV game, but the varsity game was never played because they did some tests that night, and some of the Meigs kids came down with COVID.
Oh.
So they never played the varsity game that night.
Gotcha.
Now, that could have been a very fortuitous thing for the Vinton County kids.
Sure.
Because I believe when you play basketball, you can have some contact.
There's a little bit of contact
there.
Exactly.
So that's a strange situation, but that game was also postponed. And as far as I know, the other basketball games this week are on. the Jackson boys basketball team that was sidelined for a week, they have been cleared to play against Washington Courthouse on Friday.
Okay.
But once again, the Oak Hill is off. Wellston is off because Meigs is off. And Benton County, as far as I know, still on for games Friday and Saturday. And the Saturday game is against Jackson up at Benton County.
Okay.
Involves 2 of our local teams. We'll say more about that later when we have Red Thompson Jr. hopefully trucking in to talk about that game, mainly because they're going to do the Hall of Fame up there.
Oh, that's so exciting.
It is always nice. They do a great job at that. But speaking of COVID and how it affected the schools, frankly, some of the school people thought it would be worse when they went back to school on January 3rd after all this Omicron crop up the last couple of weeks. But in the Jackson City schools, and I will give Superintendent Phil Howard credit for this, he's very transparent. He did not issue a news release, but he made this information available to us here at Total Media. And we've done a story on it, which is on the front page of our Wednesday edition of the Telegram, and of course online as well, if you want to check it out and on Facebook. But when Jackson went back to school on January the 3rd, there were, let's see the numbers here. There were 105. There were 296 total absences in the school district. Now that's a lot, but remember it's winter and there's always kids absent.
Sure.
That is higher than usual. Of the 296 absences, 105 of them, 35% were COVID-related absences because they tracked them. It was a combination of COVID cases and quarantines.
Yep.
More quarantines than cases because it's kind of exponential. If somebody has been diagnosed with COVID, maybe they were with other students, maybe they play on a sports team, cheerleader, whatever. Well, instantly you have some other exposures there.
Sure.
And then you have quarantines, or you have exposures where somebody wants to be careful and they don't go to school because of that. They get a sniffle or whatever. But that's how many there were in the Jackson School District. And it was kind of spread out among the buildings. It wasn't like it was more high school than elementary. A little bit more with the older kids than the younger kids, but it's kind of scattered those numbers. And we also received reports from Benton County and Wellston that were similar. You have students and staff members that are missing or absent from school because of COVID, either cases, quarantines, or exposures. But right now, everybody is in school, and I haven't heard anyone, of course, not that they tell me everything, but I haven't heard anyone utter a word about possibly doing online education because of this crop up. I think all the education people will tell you that just didn't work as well as being as in-person education. They all say that. So that is where we stand on COVID. We gave you the update on the COVID-19 test.
And you can pick up your telegram.
Well, thank you very much. Let's give credit to, I think you can see that. Throw that up there again, Jennifer, for them to see. Nice front page layout. I will give credit to Christina Bryan.
Yep.
She's one of our graphics folks. And I told her, hey, I want this COVID stuff to stand out. 337 cases. How is it affecting? She gave us a nice.
Thanks, James. He's a good paper model, isn't he?
Right. She fenced that off for us.
No, it looks really good.
Gave us the green type. Trying to grab you a little bit there with the importance of that story and grouping it. So give her credit. Lots of people behind the scenes that make Total Media work. The graphics people included. So we thank her and thank them. Andy Hudnall also on that graphics staff. All right. On a more cheerful approach now. Let's do that, 'cause I know,
we like cheerful.
I know everybody comes up, they try to have a good attitude, cheerful. You're great at that. And then I bring you down with reality. So, but let me tell you some good things. There's always good things, and we'll find them. The Jackson-Benton Farm Bureau is about to be in the national spotlight as far as the Farm Bureau is concerned. And I know we're going to get more information from Kim Harless about it. She's real good about sharing the good news. But a contingent of local Farm Bureau people from the Jackson-Benton Farm Bureau, if they're not already there, they will be there tomorrow in Atlanta, Georgia.
There they are.
And this is some of the hierarchy of the Jackson-Benton Farm Bureau, including Organization Director Kim Harless. She's in the back row on the right, and you have other board members there as well. You see it's a pretty big group, and you may recognize some of those faces. I'll roll down some names for you because these people have been successful representing the Farm Bureau. Pam Updike, Lauren Gardner, Julie Tripp, Jessica Taylor, Pam Martin, Matt Bennett, Dirk Dempsey, Travis Unger. The board president is Mick Scott. Then members Carla Taylor, Arnold Coffey, Michael Clark, and of course, Kim Harless.
Yes.
So congratulations to them. They have won a National County Activities of Excellence Award. That is for their drive-through Santa program.
Correct.
That they have done the last several Decembers at the fairgrounds. Been
Yes.
very popular. And
Huge.
so, there's not, when you go to the national convention, that's fun. But then when you go to the national convention and they throw you up as an example to other farm bureaus all across the country, great honor.
Yep.
So congratulations to them.
Well deserved.
All right. First of the year, Jennifer, that's always transition with our governments because you have new people going into office. So we're going to tell you about some of those. At the Jackson City Board of Education meeting on January the 3rd, that was on Monday, we had a new member being welcomed, and that was a very familiar face, Robert Bob Kite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what Bob was doing when you were in school. I'm guessing he was coaching and maybe assistant principal. Does that sound right?
I love you for saying that, but no, he was still teaching.
He was teaching at that point. Okay.
That was just a few years ago.
You go a ways back, don't
I
you?
do.
Okay.
But yeah, he was teaching history when I had him in school. I think my junior year, yes.
Well, Bob's qualifications speak for themselves to be a school board member, to have the background to make those important decisions. Teacher for many years, coach. In his later years, athletic director. He was, the bad guy of every school, the assistant principal.
Oh, no.
They always get stuck with the discipline stuff.
Yep.
So, they maybe make a few enemies there along the way in the student population. But Bob Kite, obviously very respected, got a lot of votes, got elected to the school board last November. Well, this was the first meeting of the school year. They call it the organizational meeting. Didn't do a whole lot as far as regular business. But you have to have an organizational meeting early in the month to swear people in and set the officers and all like that. And Bob Kite came in. He is a new member, 4-year term. Kim Harless, who we just spoke about, is on the board.
Yes.
She just got elected to a new year term. Now this is her third 4-year term, but she's new as well. She was in that picture there with Bob. Wearing masks, of course, because you have to when you're in Jackson High School.
That's right.
That's the rules right now. And also, we want to report in that organizational meeting, Brian Moore, who is a holdover member of the board. He's in the middle of a term, has a construction company. Mm-hmm. He is the new board president. He replaces Pat McDonald. Now, Pat didn't do anything wrong. The tradition at the Jackson City Board of Education is every year somebody else goes in, or every 2 years, just depending. They kind of share that responsibility, that honor of being president, and Brian Moore stepping up from vice president to be the president. Kim Harless, who has been the president, was elected the vice president. And now that is done at the board level. The board members themselves pick the officers. So that's what's new at the Jackson City Board of Education. Another thing they did, Jennifer, after they did this organizational business, they swore them in, they elected the officers, they went into executive session for a special meeting. Very important hiring decision they have coming up. They're hiring a new district treasurer in the very near future. Rachel Strasser had been the district treasurer for some time. She resigned last year. In the interim period since she's been gone, Brenda Hill had been very fortunate. I think that's an editorial comment, but I think it's accurate. Very fortunate to have her as a district treasurer because she was district treasurer for many years in the Wellston district and then in the Jackson district before she retired. They plucked her. They plucked her out of her recliner.
They said, "Surprise!"
They plucked her out of her recliner to take over until they could find a new treasurer. And Phil Howard, the superintendent, did share with me after the meeting that they're basically down to 2 candidates. They interviewed their top 2 again on Monday evening. Don't know how long that was, but they did not make a final decision. They're doing some other reference checks, some other vetting. And they may make a decision very soon, maybe as soon as the regular meeting, which is next Tuesday evening.
Okay.
So we could learn very quickly who is the new Jackson City Board of Education. All right. The Oak Hill Village Council had their final meeting of the year on Tuesday, December the 28th. And at that meeting, they said goodbye to one of their own, James Coleman. James Coleman had been a member for some time, highly valued. If you're watching there on your monitor on the left, that is Mayor Paul McNeil giving a certificate and proclamation, recognition to Mr. James Coleman, who did not run for re-election. He opted not to run for re-election for some personal reasons. But he had been very active. They respected his contributions on the council, also active in the community with the Chamber of Commerce and some other local organizations, the Historical Society. I think they hated to see James leave, and they gave him that nice recognition there at the last council meeting of the year. All right, at the Village of Colton, they had their first meeting of the year this past Tuesday evening. And Mayor Kim Milliken welcomed some new members there as well. The newest member is, let me get the name. The newest member is Katherine Griffith, and she is totally new. She's not served before, and that is her there on the monitor there. She is on the left taking the oath of office from Mayor Kim Milliken. And some of the other councilmen who were sworn in that night, beginning new terms, include James Milliken, who was reappointed as council president. Also, James Barnes is back for another term, and also Michael Whaley. And so this was the first meeting of the year through Colton Village Council. Once again, we want to remind you those monthly meetings, they actually meet twice a month. The date has changed. Instead of the first Monday of the month, it is the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday of the month. At 7 p.m. at the Colton Community Building. A lot going on in Colton. It's a little place, but a lot going on in Colton because, you know, they've got a lot of infrastructure projects going on there, sanitary sewer improvements, ditching improvements. A lot of that work's already been done. You know, they got the new facility, basketball court over there at where the old school was. So a lot of good work taking place in Colton right now. Our own Trevor Bailey was at that last Colton Village Council meeting, and we'll be reporting on that in the Telegram in an upcoming edition and online as well. Remember, we put our articles online. We don't wait necessarily till the print edition. We put them on it. So if you're a print/online subscriber,
you have the best of all worlds.
You don't have to wait for the news. And if you get that print subscription, the online option comes with that with very little extra cost. And you can go just online only as well.
Sure.
You know, if that's the way you want to get the news. All right. We do want to report one other thing, and then I'm going to give up my seat to Phil Buffington, who's here. He covered a very important meeting for us yesterday. He covers a lot of important public affairs meetings.
He does.
And does a great job doing that. But one other thing we did want to tell you from up Vinton County way, and this is important, the Vinton County Commissioners met on Tuesday. It was their first meeting of the year, and the Fair Board leadership was there. That would be Fair Board President Austin Owens and Fair Board Vice President Craig Case. They were there once again to see if the commissioners would allow them to extend camping sites at the fairgrounds. This is on property just next to the fairgrounds that's county owned. It's basically an extension of the campsites they have now. They're going to more than double the campsites there, and they signed a contract at that meeting to do it. Those are the commissioners. They're looking over the paperwork from left to right. William Wellman, Mark Fout, and Tim Eberts looking over the contract before they signed it. But the Fair Board very excited about this. They feel if they expand the campsites out there, they can have more events. They can have bigger crowds.
Sure.
And if you can get people, you know, who if more than one day event, or people who live, you know, an hour or more away, this may entice them to come because they can get a campsite at a pretty cheap rate.
Right.
And a lot of people who come to the fairgrounds are campers anyway. You know, they got their trailers and they're set up for that. They camp during the fair. And so they feel that this will be another element that will increase tourism in Vinton County. It's all a lot of little things that add up to a big thing.
Love that.
And so they're going to do, just like here in Jackson County, they're going to shoot to do more events at the fairgrounds, just not during the fair itself, but all these things that they can do in the off season, the demolition derbies, the survivor events, the speed events, the speed pit events that they do, concerts. You maybe even
Lots
do
of fun
concerts
stuff.
there.
Yeah.
And so, it's one thing to have the events, but you got to have it to make it convenient for people to come. And they figure with the extra camping, that might just do it. And they got the go-ahead at the Tuesday meeting to do that.
Yay.
I think they've got a lot of planning work to do, maybe some funding options to figure out how to pay for all of it. But they feel that it will be a great thing in the long run once they can make it happen. All right, one other thing that I'll mention before I move out for Phil, the Southern Hills Arts Council has started a fund to acquire a hybrid piano for the Marquee. A very important project. You have a group of people working hard at the Marquee, starting with the Director of Operations, Joel Stewart, a board with some new members on it, that we'll continue to talk about. I know you probably touched on that yesterday when Dennis Reinhardt was here.
We did.
To talk about his exhibit and his participation in the Marquee. But they are trying to raise $10,000, the Southern Hills Arts Council is, to get a hybrid piano that would be, as they explained it, more accommodating to performers that require a piano. Although a grand piano or baby grand piano would be ideal, the Marquee does not have adequate space to house such a large instrument. So that's why
they're big.
That's why they're looking for a hybrid piano.
Okay.
So, the DM Davis Choir considers the Marquee its home. They use the piano on a regular basis. Of course, a lot of the events in the Marquee Auditorium are musical concerts that require a piano. So this is a very important need. So we'll let maybe James, can you explain how you can donate or support that drive?
Well, I believe that you can donate through, donate through the Marquee website. There's a donation tab, and there's also a PayPal account set up for general donations. And when you make that donation, you can leave a note specifying that it is for the piano.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's very good. So, we hope to have a story in our Saturday paper with some detail on that, some background, not just how to donate and all like that, but you can go, as we said, to the Marquee digital platforms and the Southern Hills Arts Council to be able to make the donation and find out more about this. And it's just what we've said about the Southern Hills Arts Council and the Marquee all along. It's wonderful that it's there, but we continue to need to support it.
You have to support it.
It's a nonprofit deal.
That's
and it can run on a lot of volunteer time and passion, but the money and the public support from the outside is just as important. All right, we want to welcome the first baby of 2022. At least according to Holzer Health System, unless somebody delivered one in a taxi somewhere. This is the first one we know about. That is Shane Messer and Hannah Bryant with their daughter Brenly Ray. She was born on Sunday, January 2nd at 8:25 a.m. Not quite in time for that tax deduction that they wanted on this year's taxes, but still a healthy baby. So congratulations to them. Adina also let us know about their first baby, but it wasn't a local baby, so we're not going to give them any TV time.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to move out for Phil Buffington. Phil yesterday covered a very important meeting, and he has covered this so well along because it's been a continuing process, weaving in and out with some controversy along the way. And that is trying to find staff members, hire staff members for the Jackson County Board of Elections to replace the two retiring board members, Director Joanne Evans and Deputy Director Cheryl Browning. But Phil is the expert on this, knows all about it. He's going to tell you about that. And then later on, we'll have Red Thompson Jr. in the house. He has arrived to talk about some very important sports things in Vinton County coming up this weekend.
Very good. Come on over, Phil. And while we're doing that, we do know that the weather, we haven't had extreme weather up until, today. And here we go. So here's the deal. We have a double whammy today. We not only have snow in the forecast, but we have some frigid temperatures as well. So let's go over your weather forecast. Now, what I'm giving you is here at our Main Street TV studios. Now, here's the deal on this. What's going to happen is, depending on how far south you are, the worse it's going to get, is my understanding of this weather. So not necessarily what I'm reporting here is what's going to happen at your house. So you might want to just pay attention to what's going on, stick your head out the window and take a look. But don't go buy all the bread at the Kroger store, please. But they are calling today for partly cloudy skies. The snow showers will start this afternoon. Highs today around 28, but the wind chill values as low as 15 degrees. That's during the day today. We are expecting here in Jackson snow accumulation between 1 inch and 1.5 inches possible. That is today, and it's going to start this afternoon, as I said. Now, for tonight, partly cloudy, snow showers will continue on. Lows around 12, wind chill values as low as 5 degrees overnight tonight. Now, that's some dangerous stuff, so please make sure that you check on your friends and neighbors and pets and all of that. An additional snow accumulation of less than 1/2 inch possible here in Jackson overnight tonight. So doesn't look like we're going to get the brunt of this horrible storm that's moving across the country. But as I said, it appears that the further south you are, the worse it's going to get. But if you can make it through this afternoon into the evening, you'll be okay. But brutally cold temperatures, and those cold temperatures are going to continue pretty much through the weekend. So please, please prepare yourself for that. Check on your friends and neighbors and pets, like I said, and all of that. Make sure everybody's warm and safe.
Definitely.
So, all right. Well, our good friend Phil Buffington is here. And the story of the century, the Board of Elections, I'm going to call it debacle, of 2021 continues into 2022. But you do have a follow-up on the story that's been going on for quite some time now. So what in the world did you find out?
Well, I think it's finally been resolved.
Good.
They met yesterday morning for their regular and / special meeting. So I'll go ahead and start by saying that the 2 original people that were chosen for the 2 trainee positions that will eventually become the deputy director and director positions later this summer were chosen. It was Marcia Beatty for 1 trainee spot that will become deputy director, and Margaret Casey for the eventual director. These were the same 2 people that were chosen the first time by Marcia Beatty by the Democrats, the County Democratic Party. But then, of course, when it came time for a vote to be taken, another individual was chosen. So we'll go over a timeline briefly of how this all played out. So on November the 10th, the Jackson County Democrats convened to choose their nominee for one of the trainee spots. They chose Marcia Beatty. Then on November 14th, the longtime Democratic Board of Elections member Judy Brunton passed away. So they were 1 member short at that point. Then on November the 19th, the Board of Elections convened in a special meeting to certify the general election results from 2021, which they did. But also during that meeting, they took a vote on the trainee spots. And at that point, Marcia Beatty was nominated by Rod. I cannot think of his name right now.
Smith.
Yes, Rodney Smith. But it didn't. She failed to get a second, and so then Luke Scott was put up as the Democratic nominee, and Margaret Casey was selected for the Republicans. Shortly thereafter, on November 22nd, the Democrats filed objections because they felt that, among other things, the vote that was taken during that special meeting violated the open meetings law because it wasn't specified that they were going to take that action at that meeting.
Correct.
Then the very next day, Mr. Scott declined the position in an email that he sent to the Board of Election members and the deputy director and director. Then on December 1st, the Board of Elections, with Prosecutor Justin Levitt advising, rescinded the trainee vote that was taken on the 19th of November because it, as he said, violated the open meetings law. That same day, they decided that they would hold a special meeting on the 15th of December to take another vote on the trainee positions. Then on the 6th of December, Elaine Speakman was sworn in by Prosecutor Levitt as the new Democratic Board of Elections member. Then on the 9th, Deputy Director Browning Warner sent an email stating that an ad was going to be put in the Telegram to run 2 times, and they were going to start the process over again to select 2 trainee positions or 2 people to fill those positions.
Right.
So at the meeting yesterday, after the vote had been taken, it had all been settled. The Democratic Party chair, Lisa Parker, still had some questions, mainly what happened between the 1st and the 9th as to, who posed the question, do we need to repost these positions, and to whom was that question posed? Basically, her main problem was that some of these decisions seemed to be made behind closed doors and not during a public meeting.
Right.
And she had
not
a problem
as transparent as she had hoped.
Exactly. Yeah. So there was some back and forth with this. Kathy Smalley, a longtime Republican Board of Elections member, eventually spoke up and said that it was her decision to go ahead and get a hold of all the applicants that had applied before and let them know that this was going to be reposted, that she didn't get any sort of discussion involving Prosecutor Levitt. She said it was just a courtesy on her part to let these people know that this was restarting. Cheryl Browning Warner also said that it was, she didn't flat out say because she said she couldn't remember, but she said that it was more than likely her decision to go ahead and seek guidance on whether or not they should repost these positions. But in the end, Ms. Smalley pointed out that it was a shame that all this was having to be hashed out because she said it was creating a lot of negativity around not only the Board of Election members, but the whole election process in the county. Yeah. And she felt that it was unnecessary. But then the new Board of Elections member, Ms. Speakman, pointed out that it doesn't really look good ethically because they're supposed to make all these decisions in the public eye where anyone can put their 2 cents forward, have any questions answered that there might be, and that it wasn't necessarily a slight against anyone, but more a push for them to do things according to the letter of the law. So regardless of whether or not they may have done things like this in the past, now especially with the amount of public scrutiny surrounding elections, after the presidential election debacles that we've had in recent years.
Back to the hanging chads.
Right, yeah. So it's more of
recent years. I know.
Yeah, true.
I feel like that kind of started the madness. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. We are.
But in the end, Ms. Parker said that she feels that overall the Board of Elections, that if some of these people have been in there for quite a while, Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smalley, she thinks that they've done an outstanding job. But in today's world, you should expect to be scrutinized, and you should do your very best to do things according to the law, no matter what. So it appears as though now this has been taken care of. It's been resolved. Okay. The 2 nominees have been chosen. These will be trainee positions, and they start on February 1st. Okay. And then at the end of June, that's when the director and deputy director will be leaving at the same time. These 2 trainees will then assume their positions, and they'll go from there. They wanted to allow as much time as possible for these 2 people to be trained. During the course of this training period, there will be, of course, the primary election, so that will get them, not that either of these 2 people haven't already been involved. They've had, quite a bit of experience already, which is why they were ultimately chosen. Sure. It should be pointed out, though, that Margaret Casey wasn't chosen by the Republican executive and central committee members. The committees, I guess, decided that it would be better suited for them just to allow the 2 Board of Election members to choose the nominee themselves because they're closer to the elections process. But the Democrats, of course, chose to select their own nominee via what ended up being 2 meetings of their central and executive committees. So this apparently has all, I hope to God, come to an end, and I wish them all the best.
Yes. Well, and the Board of Elections is such an important entity here. And again, until something goes awry, you don't realize how involved and how much they do and all of the things they need to know and whatever. So in our election process is, one of the very few rights we still have left in this country.
Yeah.
And it needs to be taken seriously. And so it is a very important thing to do everything properly. And I'm glad that it all finally got resolved.
Me too. And I mean, all the people involved in this on the Board of Elections and the director and deputy director pointed out that none of this was done, with malice. They didn't, purposefully try to do things secretively or anything like that. And I think everything, though it did get a little heated yesterday at one point when the questions and answers were being delivered, it seemed as though it had all been resolved and that everybody understands everyone else's position. So hopefully they can continue to work cordially and everything goes smoothly for the next few elections. But
that sounds good.
All right.
Well, thank you guys. And we appreciate the resolution. Come on over, Red.
You ready?
Yes. Our good friend, thanks, Phil. Our good friend, Red Thompson Jr., coming on over to talk about some Vinton County news.
Thank you. Good morning. And
good morning.
Nice to be back. And
good to have you here.
I'm here to talk about heritage again, but this time it's sports heritage instead of tourism heritage.
Okay.
And any time that Jackson and Vinton County plays, it's always a big crowd and a special night. 2 local teams, but this time it's Hall of Fame night. And that's always a popular night at Vinton County High School as 4 individuals and 1 team are going into the hall. The hall is located in the gym. When you walk in, the plaques are on the wall, and it tells a little bit about each inductee. And this is a young group going in. I covered most of them, and just to announce them all before we talk about each one. Tim Ousley, Michaela Puckett, Maya Ferris, the team of 2007 and 2008, and Kristen Collins Emmerich are going in. That's the class. There they are up on the screen. Coach Combs is there because he was the coach of the 2008 team. I didn't have a picture of them, so we put a picture of Coach Combs in, who's a member of the Hall of Fame himself. But let's talk about each one just briefly. Michaela Puckett. I covered her. She was a force. She was a 1,000-point scorer. She went on to play college basketball. And maybe her crowning accomplishments, as much as she was a wonderful player and a great player, she was a coach, assistant coach of the historic state tournament team.
Yeah.
One of those fun broadcasts when you had Coach Bentley and
absolutely. So good. Yes.
It's one of a lot of people watched. I think we had 600 and some people watching when Coach Bentley was on. So that was a good broadcast for us. And we also showed a clip of that during the holidays, the best of the year. One of the clips. So she's going in. Tim Ousley was just a powerful running back. He just ran over people. He set a single season rushing record against Federal Hocking. He loved to play against Wellston, and he was an All-American at Muskingum College. And now he's the assistant coach on the football team that made the playoffs last year.
That's amazing.
A young person like that coming back to his hometown, making an impact on today's youth. And he told me he thinks it's important for someone to come back and give back. Those kids are right where he was at 6 years ago.
Right.
Same town, same field. And Tim's he's a strong guy. He's a big guy, and he joined with Coach Carper's staff. He was instrumental. Coach Carper was very, very complimentary toward him. He called him, as part of the things that made the Vikings work this year and make the playoffs. And, they've expanded the playoffs, but it's still an honor to go. It's still an honor to get there. As far as Maya Ferris, she was a track athlete and a good one.
Yeah.
Really, she ran. She was always, near the top of almost any event. She went on to Morehead State University and starred there. So, and now she is going to become a physician's assistant. She's going to the University of Kentucky.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
UKPA, University of Kentucky Physician's Assistant School, I think she called it. So, her and her husband are going to move to Lexington, area. So we wish them the best of luck. We're always glad to see the local kids doing things and making positive influences in their life.
That's right.
Kristen Collins, she played all kinds of sports. She has 13 letters, but her favorite sport was softball. And she said she just didn't have a favorite moment. She just loved playing softball with her friends, traveling with the team, and just being part of, high school. Sports is a big thing in high school.
Sure it is.
Small town. They say, Jennifer, on Friday nights, when you live in a small town, Friday nights, you're involved in sports whether you want to be or not.
Yeah, right. That's true.
And I know you've done TV for a long time and sports Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
You ever seen the video, before we talk about the 2008 team, Kitty Chesney did the boys of Friday night, I think and it talked about.
The Boys of Fall, yeah.
The Boys of Fall, yes. The video, they're in the little diner looking at all the pictures of 30 years ago.
It's so true, though. It is.
And, we remember the Oak Hill run three times to the state tournaments in 6 years.
I know. It was crazy. Girls and boys, and, oh, man, they were wild.
Remember those girls' games? They start at 7:30. The gym would be full at 5.
Exactly.
And now one of the great Benton County teams is going to be honored. I saved them for last because I remember them. They were just incredible. They played at the Combo in front of about 8,000 people. And there was traffic coming into Athens. They played Greenfield, and all the entrances into Athens were just packed.
Yeah.
I think the game might even have started a little bit late, trying to get everybody in.
Trying to get everybody in there.
I mean, I know the Combo loves to have Benton County. Not that they don't love all the teams, but Benton County, there's a lot of people in Benton County that grows up there and then they move to Athens and live there as an adult.
Sure.
So when Benton County plays there, they tend to have a lot of people come. And so I'm sure they like to have Jackson and Oak Hill and any team that's close to Athens, but Jackson always takes a big people wherever they go. So I know everybody loves to have Jackson, but that's what's going to make this special. Benton and Jackson, it's going to be packed. It's going to be Hall of Fame night. And it's a special night. The people from Jackson, you can kind of watch it unfold. They got two public address announcers, Bruce Knox and Roger Houck, and they switch off. So whichever one does it, they'll do a fine job of announcing the inductees. And it's a real nice. They usually put them on the radio with Bob and Jeff.
Yep.
And you can hear that game on our total on 98.7 with Bob and Jeff, and also on the Total Media app.
That's right.
And 98.7, it's real easy to get to on your phone, on your computer. And listen in. It's just going to be, if it's cold and you can't go, just stay home and listen to the game. It's going to be a good one. And it's just Andy Grillo was on that team. Just want to mention a few names: Dustin Guthrie, Jake Prater, Ben Beatty, and they're all doing well. Andy's an attorney now in Athens. He had attorney practice in MacArthur for a couple of years before he went to Athens.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just going to be a special night to remember sports history. And it should be just a good night at the concession stand.
There you go.
We talked about heritage sales. That sells. So
That's right.
And there's one other accomplishment. Benton County, we talked about the 1,000 points for Michaela. Tegan Bartow hit 1,000 points.
Did she?
Yes.
Way to go, girl.
Yeah, and Tegan was a big part of the state tournament team of a year ago. And there she is on the radio with, I guess it would be Jeff Thacker, since Bob's the assistant coach of the girls. So she's on the radio with Jeff Thacker there. And, that's quite an accomplishment to hit 1,000 points. There she is with her friends, her family. And she hit 1,000 points against Lynchburg Clay in a game last week on December 28th. And, hitting that milestone, I'm sure that the Hall of Fame is going to be there for Tegan. I can't speak for the committee, but I'd say that she put a pretty good resume together.
I'd say so. She's done okay.
So I'm sure that several girls from that team will eventually get in. It's a 5-year waiting period, so they can't get in today.
Okay.
But it's going to be a special night of sports history and heritage, and I hope you can make it out. Get there early because it's going to be packed, and hopefully the weather's not too bad.
That's right.
Don't seem like to have the best forecast, but
That's Saturday night, right, Red?
Saturday night, yes.
At Benton County High School.
Yeah, and it's Saturday night, and I just hope that and then the weather didn't look too good for Saturday night, but I hope we can get through it and just get the serving people into the fold and into immortality, into the high school Hall of Fame. I think it's just wonderful that what you did in high school is always going to be remembered for years to come.
Absolutely. Well, very good. Thank you, Red.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's always good spending time with you in the morning.
Well, I enjoyed it. Thanks for Main Street TV to honor these great athletes and their great coach, Matt Combs, who's the only coach that's ever coached in the new gym so far.
Wow.
They hired him in 2000, and he's still there.
It's amazing. But yeah, well-deserved recognition for all of those folks.
Okay, well, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Red. All right. Well, James, do we have anything else we need to cover?
Well, no. If we just, want to remind people about the weather, I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm thinking. So here's our weather forecast, and let's do that one more time. Thanks, Red. Because if we can get through, as I said, this afternoon, overnight tonight, that's kind of when the snow comes in, but it will be brutally cold for the next couple of days. So you do need to kind of hunker down and protect yourself from that. But partly cloudy today, snow showers will start this afternoon. Highs around 28 degrees, but those wind chill values will be as low as 15, and that's during the day today. About 1.5 inches of snow possible throughout today, this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy. Snow showers are likely again. Lows of 12, but wind chill values down to 5 degrees overnight tonight. So very, very cold overnight. New snow accumulation of less than 1/2 inch overnight. It's going to be so cold, I doubt we're going to get a ton of the snow. Now, if you are listening south of our Main Street TV studios, maybe a little bit more snow in your forecast. So just pay attention to that. Now, tomorrow on Friday, partly cloudy, highs around 26 degrees, wind chill values as low tomorrow as 4 degrees. And again, that's during the day. Mostly clear skies overnight tomorrow night, lows around 13. And then Saturday, still that wind is going to get you. Highs around 41, but those wind chill values as low as 14 during the day. So Saturday night, some precipitation back in the forecast perhaps, but it seems as if it's going to be a little bit warmer. So probably they're saying rain, not snow, likely. We'll see. All right. Well,
the one other thing to mention is just to remind everybody that tonight is the Hidden Southeastern Ohio art photography exhibit at the Marquee, 7:00. Stop by if you want to, be part of that opening reception.
You got it.
Otherwise, check it out anytime that the Marquee is open during their regular business hours.
That's right. Today will be the best day to go and see that exhibit because Dennis Reinhardt will be there tonight. 7 to 8, I believe, is the opening reception. And the cool thing about his photography is he goes to hidden gem spots in our area, and he can kind of explain to you where the pictures are taken versus whether you're just looking at them, which they're all amazing, but he can give you a little bit of history and background to each one of the locations in which he took those photos. So it'll be a great opportunity for you to see that tonight. So get out there if you can. All right. Well, got to get out of here for the day. We appreciate you so much for watching. Thank you to Pete and Phil and, of course, Red Thompson Jr. for stopping by to be guests today. And I think James and I will be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll party it up on Friday.
I think we're going to talk Matt McKee and maybe Courtney into joining us too.
Ooh,
talk about Cobra Kai and
Cobra Kai. Yep, been watching it.
Some other pop culture
How
stuff.
many episodes are there?
I think there's 10.
Okay, because I think I'm on, I watched 8. So
okay,
yeah,
you can finish it tonight.
I'll finish it tonight. Yeah, so that we can talk about it tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Yep. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Be safe out there. Stay warm. Check on your friends, your neighbors, your pets, all of that stuff. Make sure they're A-okay. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.